When you're getting those pieces of content each day, put them together. Look at how they fit. If they don't fit, that's the work that they must do. Hey guys, Leonard, Geddes here again. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to share something with you that may help your students in this virtual learning experience. Or if you're an educator, parent who's helping their students, then this may help you help your students get more out of their own learning. And I've spent more than 20 years exploring how students do academic work. And I've been able to help thousands and thousands of students at scores of institutions throughout the United States and beyond improve their learning. I've been able to help educators get more out of their students, and not only in terms of their grades, but in terms of how they think and learn, which translates into better performance, which is the sort of sequence that education should have. It should be more than just about grades. It should be changing the sort of mental and cognitive infrastructure that students are operating on, so that they have a greater capacity to do academic work, regardless of their course. And so before I get on a tangent, because that's something I'm passionate about, one of the things that I do that's pretty simple, I think, is I find ways to show students how they're already learning. So I've had a chance to work with, for example, middle school boys, and I've used video game play to show them how they are using deep level cognitive skills while they're playing video games, help them develop those skills or recognize those skills, and then transfer those skills to like their English language arts, their math, so on and so forth, and have seen those boys significantly improve their performance, and for this particular subset of boys I was working with, decreased behavior problems and so on and so forth. And so here's another way that I hope you can take away, that if you're working with students in this online environment, or if you are a student in this online environment, that will help you sort of tap into your own abilities to do academic work. And I have a couple of props here. See this right here? This is a puzzle piece. It's let me turn that the other way. This is a jigsaw puzzle. And this is one of those things that shows that we already are embedded with the capacity to do academic work. So I'm going to show you that many of the tools that students need to be successful are already embedded within them. And so let's use this as a model. So whenever you're doing a jigsaw puzzle, imagine if you did not have this cover image of these particular different puzzles, and you just got all the pieces to the puzzles. Well, that will be almost impossible to put together, because all the pieces look like they don't connect, because we don't have the holistic image to give us a vision of what that particular puzzle is supposed to entail. And so likewise, whenever students are doing academic work, when teachers are online giving them instruction, they're giving them individual puzzle pieces in the form of content for this day, content for the next day, so on and so forth. But the benefit that teachers have is they have this whole vision of what it is they're supposed to be doing. So if we're talking about, it doesn't matter, math, science, history, English, government courses, it doesn't matter, but the teachers have this embedded vision of what this thing is supposed to be, this concept is supposed to look like. The challenge is that teachers haven't often been through the proper deconstruction process so that they can understand what it's like to not have that image in place. And so they have a hard time, difficulty, I should say, relating to students. So students, on the other hand, they're getting these pieces and they're trying to learn the individual pieces of the puzzle, but they don't understand that they go together. So as a thought experiment, imagine if you were given all the pieces to this puzzle, but you didn't know that they were all went together and formed this puzzle. And you saw people poring over the table, looking at these individual pieces, and they were just studying the shapes and sizes of the pieces with no intent of putting them together. Imagine how much time they would waste. It would be so inefficient because they aren't using the puzzles in the right way. They're looking at them in isolation instead of looking at them holistically. That's what happens in class oftentimes. Students are getting this piece of content, this concept, so on and so forth, and they're getting them on a daily basis. and they're trying to learn them in isolation, and they're not necessarily putting them together. And so one thing you can do is to use something like a puzzle as a visual tool and metaphor to help students understand that when you're getting those pieces of content each day, put them together, look at how they fit. If they don't fit, that's the work that they must do. So there is a delineation of work that is oftentimes unclear in academic environments. Teachers give information, they give content, and they assess students on their knowledge. But just having content isn't knowledge. Content are individual pieces of information. Knowledge is you putting that information together in some meaningful, usable way. So for example, if someone gives me a bunch of pieces to a car, but I can't make sense of how those pieces go together, then that's not really knowledge to me because I can't use it. Here's a few tips you can do with your student, or if you are a student, you can do for yourself to help bring out these skills that I believe are already in students. One, get a puzzle, and each time students go to that virtual session, put out a few pieces of the puzzle so that they have a constant reminder that these are just pieces. Yes, they're important, but their greater importance is your ability to put them together. So that's one. Number two, help them develop strategies. So if you are a person who does puzzles, then you probably have the strategy of, if you don't know where to start, where do you start? With the edges, right? You put along the edges first, because now you can put these sort of, you get a parameter around, and you can start filling stuff in from there, and all the edge pieces kind of look the same. So that gives you a clue. So students can do the same thing. When they don't know where to start, just kind of start with the basic things that the teacher has been given and look at how those fit together. That's not going to get them to the end, but it will cause them to have progress. And then the last one, cluster things together. So whenever we're doing puzzles, right, we get those times where if we're looking at this section, we see that this is like a dark purplish. Let me get this so you're not seeing the light reflection. So this is like a dark purplish color. So we're going to look for all the pieces that fit that, and we're going to put those in that section. The greens are going to go over in this section, so on and so forth. So the idea being is that we have this internal knowledge of how to use strategies at different stages in order to build this holistic puzzle. So again, those three tips are: first, help students understand by giving them the pieces as constant reminders that what they're getting in class are just pieces to a much larger puzzle that their job is to put together. The second component is to help students understand that it is their job to put things together. The teacher can't convert the content into knowledge for you, but you as students have the ability to convert that, just like you have the ability to find how these puzzle pieces work together. And then number three, use strategies, work the edges, find the consistent things that fit together. And if you do those things, you'll eventually begin to see the whole picture. And when you see the whole picture, you'll get that aha moment that lets you know that you've converted the content into knowledge. So I hope this helped you. Hope you like this video. If you do like it, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what you do to improve students' learning, or how this resonates with you, or if you've used this. I'd love to hear feedback on the results. Also, click that notification button, click that notification bell, and finally, make sure you subscribe so I can bring you more good stuff here in the near future, and you'll know about it. Okay, thanks.